This is the story of the foundling and the werewolf, the romance of Guillaume de Palerne, written in the 1190s, which is a werewolf story with the werewolf as the good guy. And it's very romantic. A very romantic romance, which is not necessarily what you would find in medieval times. So, in Sicily, Queen Felice of Palermo gives birth to a baby boy, and the whole kingdom rejoices. None more so than her husband, the king, Embrons, and none less than the king's brother, the baby's uncle. So, having just been disinherited, the uncle plots with a servant to poison the new baby. But before they can poison him, the baby is snatched away by a wild wolf who runs through the garden, grabs the baby, and leaps over the walls and runs away. And everybody's devastated. Even the uncle, he's just in shock. But the king and the queen are just, their baby has, as far as they know, their baby has been eaten and they're in mourning. But it turns out years ago in Spain, there was another tale of betrayal, of family betrayal. And in which Queen Brands, the second queen of Spain, who married the widower king of Spain, wanted to ensure that her husband's throne went to her own child rather than the king's oldest son, Alphonse, by the king's previous wife. Using the touch of a magic wolf skin glove, she turns Alphonse into a giant wolf and transforms him, and he runs away and wanders over to Palermo. Now, having retained his human reasoning and intelligence, as one does, by chance, Prince Alphonse, who is now the wolf, hears the conspiracy against another young prince. Seeing this as an echo of his own fate, the wolf Alphonse decides to intervene and grabs the baby, runs away with him, and then leaves Prince Guillaume, which is the baby's name, with a kindly cowherd to be raised. Guillaume grew into a handsome youth, and Alphonse the wolf continued to watch over him, now being invested in his future, and decides to make sure that he gets a good future. So, when the Emperor of Rome is hunting in the nearby woods, a giant wolf cuts across the hunt, distracting all the dogs. The dogs run after the wolf. The hunt runs after the dogs, and they are led by the wolf Alphonse to the cowherd's home, where there is this noble-looking youth, Guillaume, and the King Emperor of Rome is very struck by how noble this youth is and takes him in and makes him a knight. Guillaume gained great fame in warfare under the rule of the emperor, enjoying favor in the imperial court, and most precious of all, the love of the emperor's only daughter, Princess Milor. Princess Milor was betrothed to the son of the Emperor of Greece, who was actually the brother of Queen Felice of Palermo, and thus Guillaume's maternal and less murderous uncle. So Milor was married to Guillaume's cousin, whose name was Partenadon. In love with the handsome youth that she could never marry because he's not a king's son, so she thought, Milor becomes ill and confides her distress to her lady-in-waiting, Alexandrine. Alexandrine, to save her friend, cast a spell to send Guillaume dreams of the princess and sets him to wandering under the princess's windows to catch a glimpse of her. So once that happens, Alexandrine arranges for the two to meet. They fall in love and plot to run away. At the young lovers' urgings, Alexandrine steals a pair of white bear skins from the palace kitchen and sews them inside, making sure to leave their hands free so that they can elegantly eat, because very important. And the pair run off to the woods with nobody following them because they're freaking bears. But the young lovers do almost get caught because somebody decides to actually chase after them, and Alphonse, the wolf, finds them and saves them, and then continues to watch over them and provide them food, elegant food, because of course they're royalty. And Guillaume and Malor, who have no idea how to survive in the wild, very sensibly decide that a wolf that is providing them with disguises and food and survival must be heaven sent, and they're going to follow him. So they do. And they follow him. Alphonse leads them to the palace at Palerne, where Guillaume was born. Once returned to his mother's home, Guillaume is very quickly recognized as his father's son and reunited with his family, who now just comprises of Queen Felice and Guillaume's new sister, who was born Princess Florence. Because King Ambrose and his murderer's brother and any other males in between the throne and Guillaume have conveniently died. The city is actually under siege by Alphonse's father, who wishes to woo Guillaume's sister Florence for Alphonse's half-brother Brandonus. Brandonus, named after his mom, Queen Brand. So she named her son after herself. Anyways, Guillaume, now known as the Knight of the White Wolf, because he's used the symbol, a picture of Alphonse on his shield in honor of his savior, defeats the enemy and reconciles the two kingdoms. And as they sit in the hall, toasting the newly established peace, in walks Alphonse the Wolf, who is welcomed by Guillaume, of course. This is the wolf who saved me. But Alphonse walks over to the Spanish king, his father, and embraces. So basically, you're a king, you're sitting there, and a giant wolf comes into the hall, leaps up, and gives you a hug. And starts weeping. And this reminds the King of Spain of his first child, his son, who disappeared mysteriously. And so the king tells his story, Guillaume tells his story, and they figure out that Alphonse the wolf must be the same people. So Queen Brand is summoned and forced to undo the magic that transformed her stepson, and she is forgiven. And then they do the family tree, figure out that all of the royalty of the kingdoms, Palerne, Rome, Greece, Spain, are now related. They're all cousins, or etc. And so peace is established, and Guillaume marries his sweet princess Malor, and Alphonse the Wolf, who's now a human, marries Princess Florence, Guillaume's sister, and everybody lives happily ever after. So, and happy Valentine's.